So today we're going to try a little something new, but trying to accomplish the feat using simple tools that are readily available to most anybody who wants to get into woodworking. So again, we're in the early days of setting up our shop, so I don't have every tool I'd like to have, but we're getting there. Now, what we're trying to accomplish today is to end up with a cylinder that has been made with wood as its core material. So what I've done here so far is I got a 3-inch hole saw and cut myself out some 3-inch discs out of some clear cedar. The intent was to mount these on this round bar stock to make myself, eventually, I'm starting to make parts to make myself a large table sander. Probably a 6x48 is the size belt I'm going to want to use, so to have a nice flat and long platen to be able to sand things and have a fair amount of flatness to them when I sand them. A hand belt sander is great for small items, but the larger the item, the more difficult and challenging it is to have a flat surface. So anyways, a number of guys on YouTube have built their own tools in the shop, and a number of them have given me some ideas that have inspired me to try to make my own version of some tools. And this belt sander is one of the early ones. You've seen in previous videos, in fact, I'll include a link in the description to the router table that I've made that also has the insert that can be swapped out with a mount for a jigsaw that can have that router table double as a rudimentary scroll saw. So again, I'll include the link in the description below so that if you're curious to know how I did that, I think you'll get some enjoyment out of it and maybe inspire you with some ideas of your own. So anyways, I've cut the bar stock approximately to the length that will allow me, once this is turned, finished, and ready to add to the belt sander, the table sander, I've left myself enough on each end to allow for some uprights to mount this roller into and to be able to use some bearings so that it will spin freely. So my intent is to not take these discs back off the bar stock. This is a permanent install. So the question is, how do I take, imperfect 3-inch round discs that have now been glued together and so have made an imperfect cylinder? How do I get them to be more perfect, closer to perfect, and round so that it will work well? I don't have a lathe, so what I'm going to attempt to do here is show you how I have taken my small benchtop drill press and I'm going to turn that into a rudimentary lathe. So stick with me. I've already acquired myself the bearings that I'm going to use for the sander. So I'm going to let these bearings do some double duty. And what I'm going to do, what I've done is I've taken a Forstner bit with a piece, just a scrap MDF, just scrap material. I have pre-drilled a hole to match the size of my bearing, and I'm going to just set the bearing into the hole. I'm not going to glue it, not going to attach it in any way, but just let it sit there like this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop my drill press table low enough where I can insert this into the chuck of the drill. Of course, I also have to open up the chuck. Bear with me. Okie doke. So now we have this installed. We will tighten the chuck good and snug. And then what I want to do is take this piece of scrap material with the bearing in it and raise the table until the bottom end of this shaft gets zeroed out and inserted into that bearing. I'll leave myself a good 1/8 of an inch or so of slop height-wise. And then what I'm going to do is simply take a utility clamp and clamp this piece of material to the table, and that should give enough stability to this so that when it spins, bear with me here while I find a good flat spot to clamp this to. Okay. So the intent here is to have the bottom end of this be spinning freely enough so that when the drill press is turned on, I'm going to manufacture a tall straight edge parallel to the arbor here, and have that be my tool rest for my chisel. So before I go to install or build the tool rest, let's go ahead and turn the drill press on and see how she spins. Okay, it appears we have success. We've got a nice, quiet, steady spin here, and I think it should be fairly simple to manufacture a tool rest so that I can use some chisels to true this thing up. Okay, stay tuned.